Hi guys, it's Debbie. The wait is finally over and Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is now in cinemas. This video will not have spoilers about Rogue One or The Force Awakens, but it will have references to the original Star Wars saga, so you might want to catch up with the films before watching this video. I recently uploaded a video in which I spoke about the Star Wars saga as a whole, and I'll leave that linked in case you might want to check it out before seeing Rogue One. I said there would be references to the original saga because Rogue One is set before the 1977 film Star Wars A New Hope. So no Rey, no Finn, no BB-8, no Kylo Ren, and so on. So it's set between Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars 3, and A New Hope, Star Wars 4. It's sort of a Star Wars 3.5 if you want to see it like this. And it's the story of how the plans to destroy the Death Star were found. Rogue One is the first film in the Star Wars anthology series, and the other films in the series should be focused on Boba Fett and Han Solo. So Rogue One is the first standalone film in this series and stars Felicity Jones, Mads Mikkelsen, Diego Luna, Forest Whitaker, Riz Ahmed, and many more. Felicity Jones is Jyn Erso, daughter of Galen Erso, a weapons designer recruited against his will by the Galactic Empire in order to build the Death Star. The Death Star is the huge weapon we see in Star Wars A New Hope, and it basically is a battle station used by the Empire, and it has this extremely dangerous weapon, this laser, which is able to destroy entire planets. Jyn Erso, together with Cassian Andor, the droid K2SO, Chirrut Imwe, Body Rook, and Bail fight to obtain the plans to this Death Star. The character of Grand Moff Tarkin, the commander of the Death Star, was recreated using CGI as the actor that originally portrayed him, Peter Cushing, died more than 20 years ago. And the visual effects were done extremely well, as it really looks like the original actor. I personally really enjoyed Rogue One, and I especially appreciated the second half of the film, where the plot moved from the character introduction towards the battle to actually obtain the plans to the Death Star. As always, Star Wars, as I said in my previous video, gives us that feeling of teamwork, that feeling of getting together for a greater good. And again, in Rogue One, we have, as in The Force Awakens, a lot of features which remind us of dictatorships which have been on our planet Earth. So for example, we have the images of the troopers raiding Galen Erso's home and forcing him to use his abilities in science and engineering in order to complete an evil and destructive plan. Or for example, we have troopers violently stopping and questioning innocent people in the streets, presence of labour camps, which is a new feature, and also this rigid chain of command which is present in all the Star Wars films. An element which is underlined in Rogue One and not so much in the other films is trust, because in Rogue One the characters have lost their ability to trust others. They live in such a corrupt society that they have given up relying on others. They don't believe in Jyn Erso. Jyn Erso fights back when she receives help. Weapons are considered dangerous even in the hands of allies. The film is also visually impressive with these beautiful wide shots which underline just how big everything is in Star Wars. Spaceships, planets, weapons are all imposing and monumental, making the small group of rebels appear even more microscopic but also braver. A feature I really appreciated in Rogue One, and which I also acknowledged in The Force Awakens, is the fact that these recent films have been released nearly 40 years apart from the first Star Wars film, and yet nothing has changed. Everything from the combat methods to the dialogue, from the props to the characters, give us that emotion of feeling at home, as if nothing has ever changed, as if everything is actually happening before the 1977 film, only now in HD. The costume designer David Crossman actually stated that some of the costumes from the original trilogy were used in Rogue One. If I had to choose between the most recent films, I still prefer The Force Awakens, but I appreciated the two movies in a different way, because The Force Awakens is a totally new story. It is a sequel, so we are excited because we see how the characters evolve, we see the old characters, we want to know how the story will continue. I love the introduction of Kylo Ren's character. In Rogue One, the feelings are different because it is a different type of nostalgia. We know what happens at the end of Rogue One because we saw A New Hope, but this knowledge makes us even prouder because knowing what happened makes us understand just what the rebels had to do in order to obtain these plans. So it's like a beautiful introduction to a story we already know. So again, it conveys this feeling of being part of the family. It gives us the feeling of familiarity, but also offers something fresh and new, a whole new story which blends into the old one. Let me know if you saw Rogue One. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go and watch it. It's really worth it, and I'll see you soon in a new video. Bye!